have a lot of fond memories of growing up in this house, but it had fallen into disrepair.
We were doing okay until we had a fire.
Here it is 110 degrees and we have no AC.
You had a roof over your head, and that was basically it.
Like he said, we needed more than a roof.
I called every AC company in San Antonio, and they came out and gave us estimates. We just couldn't do it.
Here we were, trying to live on $600 a month.
I fell behind on the property taxes.
Hi, this is Shri Thanedar, Congressman from Michigan's 13th Congressional District. I am thrilled to be collaborating with organizations like Operation TRIAGE that share my passion for helping our veterans in need. Our community is made up of resilient, hardworking, and dedicated Americans. When I meet my neighbors, I see people who can lean on one another and have the ability to face concerns head on. This is why and what makes our community so special. Operation Triage finds ways to be quick, caring, and innovative to lift financial stress for our veterans. These services help veterans who are adjusting to hardship in their lives, making efforts to build a better way of life, and reminding them that they are not alone. Every day, we honor and recognize their sacrifices for our nation and know that more needs to be done to help our veterans in need.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Buckingham. I am one of the legislative assistants for Congressman Shri Thanedar. So first, thank you to everyone for being here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to us today about this project. We first started talking with Operation Triage a few months ago. We learned about kind of the projects they've done in the past, really were impressed, and really want to make sure that we're able to get one of our constituents in the Metro Detroit area a home that they absolutely deserve, especially coming from a veteran background or law enforcement background. Here today we have Daniel, we have Matt, and we have Bill, all part of Operation Triage, and they're going to give you a little bit more of a breakdown of that. So I'm going to pass it over to Dan so he can kind of talk to you more about it.
Hey, it's great to meet everybody. Thanks for having this meeting with us and what we're trying to do. A little bit about Operation Triage. Matt and myself met years ago. I'm a retired veteran. I did 20 years in the Air Force, and Matt's in the building industry. And we decided we wanted to do home repairs, home remodels, brand new builds, if possible, for our disabled veterans and first responders injured in line of duty. In partnership with Bill, with their NHB fall board meetings, we're trying to do a home in every city that they're in. And coming up is Detroit. And it's a great opportunity for us to come there and try to find a family or a veteran that's in need of either a major home repair, major remodel, or even a new home. And with Matt and Bill's contacts in the building industry, and hopefully through you all, we can find a deserving family or a veteran in the area that we can help. Did I miss anything, Bill or Matt?
It feels like we're going to hit our goal of having a candidate and his or her family identified here, sometime before the end of the year, which should put us on track to have the project complete for our board meeting, which I think is the second or third week of October next year. So we're in great shape on that. What did I miss, Matt? I saw you were on there somewhere.
Good afternoon, everybody. Josh, thanks for putting this together again. Appreciate all your help and support, and your team there in your office, including the congressman and everybody else that's on here with us. So Dan and Bill pretty much said it in some of what we're about, what we're trying to do. We're volunteers, all of us. Everything we do is just because we love to be able to have the ability to do this. And certainly the recipients are well deserving and more than earned what we're trying to do for them. One other thing we do, besides just housing issues, is a lot of advocacy. Dan, especially, when he calls the VA for help, they just take care of him because he's he's the definition of the greasy wheel when it comes to getting stuff done for veterans. So, we have a lot of luck with that too. Just getting, a good review of their, where they're at with their classification. Most of them usually need to have some kind of an upgrade to their classification, and we're able to help with that. And that in itself changes their life sometimes. So it's just a super blessing to be able to do this and do it with the people I get to do it with, Bill and Dan and you all now. So appreciate all the help that you put into it and working with y'all. So good stuff will come of it. Thank you.
Well, thanks, y'all. Why don't y'all talk about the projects you've worked on in the past, maybe the timeline it took, what exactly was involved, and what exactly do you need from veteran organizations moving forward?
So we're actually building our second home in San Antonio from the ground up. We had a Vietnam veteran, Marine. His house was basically to the point that it was cheaper for us to tear it totally down and rebuild it. We're not doing extreme home makeover homes. We're giving them what they need. We're not, doing extravagant builds. The home we tore down, we're actually putting in a home that fits the exact footprint in that area. And we've worked real close with the cities. So like in San Antonio, we have really good close relationships with a lot of the council people. And they've helped us work with the power companies to get permits waived, to get the gas turned off, water turned off, and be hand in hand with this project. With the veterans organizations, we'd love to team up with y'all and find out what are the needs out there, what veterans are in your area, because hopefully this could actually grow as a grassroots event in your area. That's basically what we've done in San Antonio. We call it 21st century barn raising. We're neighbors helping neighbors. So we've teamed up with the National Association of Home Builders, the Greater San Antonio Builders Association, and the builder volunteers his time as the general contractor, pulls the permits and has the work all scheduled out. And between the Builders Association, we've gotten 95% of everything donated for the home. So when the veteran moves in, there's no cost to him for the new home. We feel they've earned this through their service. Our biggest thing is just, we have to do a process and verify them and check a lot of things out, making sure that, we're not setting them up for failure and putting them in something they can't afford to maintain. So that's where our process comes in, and us doing the paperwork, collecting the material, paperwork we need from the veteran. And then we'll do a Zoom meeting with them. And then if everything goes right, we'll come down and meet with them in person. So we're not a cookie cutter organization. We're pretty broad on who we help. The things that we won't tolerate is if they're convicted sex offenders. Sorry, but something that we just won't deal with. The disability rating, we're pretty open to that because we feel that, they could have PTSD and be 100% for PTSD or 50% for PTSD. We're very broad about looking at the disability ratings and their needs. Dear to my heart is the Vietnam veterans. I came into the military right after Vietnam, almost a decade after Vietnam, and saw what the Vietnam veterans went through, and now they're becoming our oldest generation. So we would love to help an elderly veteran if possible. We have no problem helping the younger ones, but we feel a lot of the younger ones have been taken care of so good. The older ones kind of got forgotten about, and are the ones that really need adaptable home and being able to have a home that there's not a catastrophic emergency with the home that's causing them to live in a, we had that problem in Texas a lot, where the AC goes out and they're living in the home with no AC and 100 degrees because they can't afford to repair it. So we run into those issues a lot. So we're pretty broad, except, right now, given a veteran that's addicted with an addiction is not going to help them with a brand new home. They need to get into rehab. So we're going to look at things very closely. And I can send y'all a copy of our application that we have and what we require to get from them. We feel this is a hand up, not a handout, and they need to have a buy-in by at least doing the application, getting the paperwork back to us if they really want to be, to apply for this, if that makes sense. We do a lot of remodel, especially the adaptations for the homes where we tap into the VA for their RAMP grants, their HISA grants, special adapted housing grants, because we feel the VA should, if they can put up their money they owe them, we get the products donated, we can cover the back end. And so it helps alleviate us paying for everything. And we put their feet to the fire to make sure that the veteran is getting what they deserve from the VA.
Okay, yeah, if we're Metro Detroit, I don't see no reason why we shouldn't be able to find you guys. multiple people from the Metro Detroit area.
The one request from our office is we do want to have somebody in Michigan's 13th, at least for now, which is, you know, Detroit, Romulus, Taylor, Wyandotte, Downriver, Harper Woods, DeGrosse Points, etc. Yeah.
We should not have an issue giving you multiple candidates from the various veterans organizations.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't see an issue with that at all. We really need the qualifications. We get that out to the VSOs, let them get to work. But if we get those applications and you know, the criteria, what we need to get for these people, that's going to be the biggest help.
Yeah.
And I know you want it by December. And then let me ask you this, and I asked Bill this too. Okay, we give you 10 applications. Is it you as a board that decides who gets it, or you put their names in a hat or something like that, and then you pick out the name?
It would be a board decision. We would make a board decision. Mm-hmm. But also we're going to look at, how we came up with the name of Operation Triage is like a triage hospital. We're going to rack and stack the most needs, and we're going to weigh that heavily. What is the greatest need out there? Because there's some people that really need help right now and can't wait, compared to somebody that is just for an ass. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
And what's your criteria about you talk about this time, you guys are definitely looking for a new build, not a rehab, correct?
I think we're looking for both. I mean, we would consider if they're in a house and it needs to be gutted and we got to do a major rehab, we're looking at that as well. We're open to both. So if you work with the social workers that say, hey, I really have this veteran I'd like to be considered, we'll look at them. You know, that's one thing we're not cookie cutter where they have to have a Purple Heart or they have to have a leg amputation or things like that. We want to look at the whole person, where this is going to be a hand up to them. You know, this is going to get them down that road of recovery or down that road that they can better their lives and move forward. I'm going to be honest with you, we've had Vietnam veterans that were in prison before and were addicts, and they're 20 years sober and they're part of Narcotics Anonymous, and they go out and now preach at the prisons, and they applied for our program and we've helped them out. So we're not going to hold that against people. There's just certain things that we just can't overlook. Where we ask for bank statements, we ask exactly how much money, everything they're bringing in. Unfortunately, you get those people that actually have money and they try to hide it, and they can afford to take care of themselves, but they want something for free. So we weed them out. So when I send you the application, it'll explain everything. And if you have any questions after I send it to you, feel free to call me or email me. We can go over it individually, or we can get back together as a group.
Yes, sir. And I'll jump in real quick. I will be sending a follow-up email to all the people I invited to this meeting and everyone here, kind of going over what we talked about, as well as the requirements. And I'm going to work with Bill to ensure I got that application as well, so that everyone has that. But is there any follow-up questions or anything else that any Operation Triage needed to go over?
Ideally, and again, we want to respect if we have multiple applicants, that's a great thing. If we end up with one or two, we have to make a decision. I leave that to Daniel's board. But us representing the supply chain side of this, both on the building material side as well as the building system side, that offsite construction that Matt represents, as well as what we think we could leverage within the Home Builders Association community there in Southeast Michigan. Ideally, and again, this is ideal, but it's not prescriptive, is that we would find perhaps a vet similar to the last two builds down in San Antonio, where they had a distressed property where it didn't meet their needs, or it wasn't going to meet their future needs, or it was in such disrepair that a code official would come in and condemn the building. That guarantees then that vet has some buy-in. They actually own the asset, meaning the land. And that makes it turnkey for us from a new construction point of view, a tear down and a rebuild, which fills the most opportunities within our association, National Association of Home Builders, but it doesn't restrict it. Probably the second best scenario would be, again, being in Metro Detroit, something we could not do in Greater Denver was produce affordable land and to have somebody that was willing to relocate from point A to point B. We'd acquire a lot, hopefully with some help through the congressman's office and the mayor's office, acquire the lot for little or nothing, and then build that structure, again, assuming that that vet and his or her family would want to relocate into that neighborhood. And then, I would put that in a second place slot as much as we would probably a deep or a major remodel, or a house that would benefit from an addition, something where we would put material assets, building materials in that our group, specifically some offsite construction folks that are anxious to help us out in that area, could contribute to then too. But again, I would certainly yield to Daniel's first point that the needs of the vet is first and foremost. So that's kind of where we are in this overall thinking.
We've found lots, in areas that we thought were just too pricey, but the bank ended up owning lots. They did not want to own lots, and they were 501c3, so they donated the lot to us, and we were able to build a new home for a veteran in that circumstance. So there may be estates out there, veteran-owned estates that the veteran, the family thing. Well, for our veterans' legacy, we'll donate the lot to this cause, or there's all kinds of opportunities out there, and it's nice to have this big team that more eyes and ears. So that things will happen when they're meant to happen, and that's usually how it goes.
Okay, I'm going to turn it back over again to Dan, Bella, or Matt for any closing statements prior to ending the meeting.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Please check out our website and understand that, like Matt said earlier, we're 100% volunteers. We have no paid employees. We have very little overhead, and all that goes to paying. We have a comptroller, an accountant, and a CPA that does our taxes, and our website, we do it ourselves. So we're here to do this because of our love for our veterans and our love for our first responders. And I know y'all are the same way. So I feel that all of us together, we can change a life together. That's going to have a ripple effect in the area. So I really appreciate y'all and look forward to working with y'all, meeting y'all in person soon.
Well, thank you all again for taking the time today to meet with us. Really do appreciate it. So thank you again, and all. You have a good one.